What a beautiful day. And I'm not even trying to be cheesy. Every day is a blessing. I am starting off this video a little bit backwards. I am finishing off my day with a nice hike at my local park. I never really thought that I would be into walking, but it really helps me focus, relieve some stress, and kind of reflect on life. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up here, and I will see you back at the house. What is going on, YouTube? My name is Aaron Abels. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Before we get started in today's video, I want to go ahead and show you guys something. And I ain't even trying to flex, but okay. This is my 1966 Ford Mustang. So this actual vehicle was a gift from Elizabeth last year. Elizabeth knew that I had a 1964 and a half Ford Mustang growing up that unfortunately, due to financial reasons, I had to give up. It was an actual gift from my father, so Elizabeth knew how much it meant to me, and she was gracious enough to get me this guy. In no way, shape, or form do I want any of you to think that I'm trying to show off or boast or think that I'm better than anybody. What I'm trying to show by this tangible item is where my relationship with Elizabeth was to where it is now. And it's gone a long way, and that is all due to sobriety. So on to today's discussion of what it was like for me in my first 30 days of sobriety. So I want to start this discussion off with a little story of mine. It's kind of like a divine intervention, if you will. Now, on the way to my very first AA meeting, I was about a half a mile away from my exit. My alcoholism at that time, I remember, was telling me to go ahead and turn around and go back home. Everything was going to be fine. We just need to slow down on drinking, this and that. Just trying to convince me that I didn't have any problems or that we could fix any issues that we had caused. And to be honest, I was seriously contemplating just turning around and going back home and just continuing the lifestyle that I had. At that moment, I remember that there was a van who got in front of my lane, and in the back of the van was a big cross. I remember feeling like peace and calm, and I just followed this van, and oddly enough, it led me to the shopping center of where my AA meeting was being held. And I just remembered, if this isn't a sign that I need to stop drinking, then nothing is. My very first meeting, I had no idea what to expect. I was literally scared out of my mind. I remember at the end of the meeting, there was a gentleman who came up to me and he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Boy, you look like this is the last place that you want to be, but I can guarantee you it's the place that you need to be." And he was genuinely sincere when he said that. From there, I went to a meeting every day that month. Now, my home group, which is called Stepping Stones out here in Santa Clarita Valley, they have an online schedule, and they pretty much have a meeting every hour, so there was literally no excuse for me not to go. At this point, I was pretty much in fight or flight mode, and I had already seen what flight got me, so I literally needed to start fighting. I wasn't at all trying to be self-centered or selfish. I just knew that I had to fix and I had to work on my well-being. I was seriously no use or no good to anybody if I couldn't help myself. That month was a blur but as clear as day, if that makes sense. I can remember where I sat at each meeting, how I felt. I was present, but I can't remember the discussions. I just remember being with a group of people who knew what I was going through, and that was pretty comforting. Now, on the other hand, at home, things were very difficult. I was coming to terms with all of the damage that I had done, and walking on eggshells was an understatement at this point. As I mentioned, my sister Gina really helped me stay on track. She had gone through recovery as well, and she has had many years of sobriety, and I would call her every day. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I called her a lot of times freaking out, telling her AA is absolutely a cult, and she would just laugh. She would say, just keep going. Just keep going to meetings and you'll start seeing more and more. Now, the reason that I thought it was a cult at first is because there are some very intense people who attend these meetings, but there's also some very caring people who honestly want what's best for you. Now, intense people or caring people, both are genuinely interested in their well-being and your well-being as well. What I had to understand is that some of these people, a lot of these people, this is life or death for them. This was life or death for me as well. I attended AA for 2 weeks, and I just sat in my specific chair quietly, just listening. After those 2 weeks is when I got the courage to finally stand up as a newcomer within my first 30 days of sobriety and state that I was an alcoholic. And as simple as that sounds, it is absolutely so empowering to finally admit the truth out loud. It felt like so much weight was lifted off of my shoulders and everybody was clapping, and I just felt in a really good place. I really wanted to get my 30-day chip, and as I mentioned before, I'm a competitive person, so I wanted to achieve that accomplishment. It was something so tangible, but it meant so much to me, and at that point, I could use whatever motivation I could get. When I received my 30-day chip, I knew at that moment that I wanted to continue my sobriety and my recovery. And from there, I was on to my next achievement, which was my 3-month sobriety chip. I plan on discussing my path to 3 months in my next sobriety video. Now, I know this video is about me, but I want to end it with this. If you are dealing with any type of substance abuse, if for whatever reason you feel alone or hopeless or scared, I can tell you this sincerely, you are not alone. There are places that you can go to right now that will help, and I cannot stress this enough. They are absolutely free. A lot of people, including myself, wait for something horrible to happen to make a change. Please do not make that mistake ruin your life. And if you've made mistakes in the past, trust me when I say this, time heals all. I love the saying that goes, we make mistakes, our mistakes do not make us. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you a different perspective of things. Please make sure to like, please comment, and please subscribe. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I will see you soon. Take care and God bless.